Hello. Okay, it's good to have you all here. We are back for our annual event, which is How to Design Your Life in 3 days. We run this event every year with thousands of people from around the world taking part. So I'm so excited. We start next week for the actual event, but I like to do some prep work in advance because I think the prep work takes the longest, or it does for me anyway. And so we're going to do a reflection on 2024 together in this session today. I like to do these sessions, these live workshops where we actually do the work together, because sometimes it can feel like a really lonely task trying to figure out what it is that you want from your life, what decisions to make, how to plan this year. So we're going to do some live workshops like this where we actually do the work together. Right now, though, if you haven't signed up for the event, the link is above this video. Once you sign up, you'll receive the link to go and access the prep work. And the worksheet that we'll be working from today is on that site. So go and sign up above if you haven't already, and I'll share in a minute on my screen where you can find the worksheet for today. And follow along today. You don't have to have the worksheet at hand if you don't have it. We will go through this together. You just need a piece of paper. You need something to take notes on. You might not like to work on paper. You might like to work digitally. You might just want to voice memo yourself as you're going through this process today. So we start the workshops on the 20th, next Monday, a week today. And when we start the workshops, that's when we start to go through the Design Your Life process, which is creating a vision, creating a plan, and taking action. And so we'll take you through that 3-part framework next week. We'll start the prep work now, which is reflecting, because it is so important to reflect, stop, pause before we start to launch into what is it we're doing, what am I going to say yes to. So the reason we reflect, and I love this quote from Steve Jobs, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. And I love this so much because I think sometimes if we just keep pushing forwards with goals and not taking time to actually stop and do this, to connect the dots, to look back and think, oh my gosh, this happened because of this. I enjoyed this because of this. It's taking time to stop and actually just take notice of how you feel or how you felt last year doing certain tasks. What was it that filled your heart with joy in 2024? What was it that you didn't enjoy doing? And so that's what we're going to look at in this session today, is taking time to reflect back and to ask some questions of ourselves. And I'm doing this live with you. I haven't done it. I'm actually not at home. I'm all thrown today because I'm actually at my mum and dad's. I couldn't do the live from home, but it doesn't matter. We're here. I've got a scrap of paper showing that you can do this from anywhere. And so we're going to go through this reflection worksheet. Now, when you sign up to this event, there's a whole load of prep to go through, and you don't have to go through all of it. I'm giving you behind the scenes of what I do. And I'll share my screen in a minute and show that you can just do little bits of this and take what's relevant to you and what resonates to you. So where are you all tuning in from? Let me have a look. Oh, it's so good to see you all here. Karen, hello. And we have 2 Karens with us. Marita, hello. Diane. Mad Art is with us. Carol, so good to see you, Carol. Lisa. Shell's with us. Lisbeth, Melanie. Oh, Lindsay said, really looking forward to this session. I've already read my previous Best Year Yet reflections from 2021. Amazing. Very interesting, and gobsmacked at how much I've achieved. Well, Lindsay is well versed in this process, having been with us since 2021. How incredible. Some of you will be here for the first time. Let us know in the chat if it's your first time here. We've been running this now for 6 years, so some of you might be here for a 6th, 7th, I think it's our 6th year or 7th year of running this. Hi, Kit, good to see you. Derek's with us as well. I'm already on the way. Fantastic. How's everyone feeling about this year? Kit, I'm going to share where you can find the worksheet in a minute. Okay. It's cold where some people are. Okay. Here's some weather talk. Yeah, no, I'm so Lindsay's saying, "Are you in another country or is the heating on full blast?" The heating is on full blast. I'm at my parents' house. Well, it's a bungalow and it's hot. They like it hot. And they said to me, you can turn it down. I'm like, no, it's okay. I'll just wear less clothing. I've got my big hoodie here and I do not need it. I am so warm. That's really funny. Where are you tuning in from? Let me know. Derek said 2024 was a good year. 2025 will be my best year ever. I love your enthusiasm. That's amazing. Laura's tuning in from Zagreb in Croatia. We've got Jude tuning in from Brisbane. Joe from Barcelona. Amazing. Sally's from Shropshire in the UK, which literally is just down the road from me. Hi, Sally. Tonika's with us. Hello. Oh, Sandra's tuning in from Switzerland. Lovely. Laura's tuning in from Somerset. Katrina's tuning in from Scotland. Oh, it's so good. Gail's with us. Terry, first time from Norwich. I had a holiday in Norwich a couple of years ago. Norfolk, actually, but we did go to Norwich. And I was actually a bridesmaid in Norwich years ago when I was about 10. So know it well. Oh, Jolanda in the Netherlands. Lovely. Oh gosh, I don't think I stayed in that place. I've just put that on my review because we're going to do this in a minute, this piece of paper that I'm holding. I was in the Netherlands and I can't remember when it was. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. It was around, I think, April, May. We're going to do this together in a second, so I'll share all. But yes, welcome. It's good to have you here. Oh, we've got lots of people tuning in for the first time. Hilda's tuning in, first year doing this. So good to have you here. Oh, Susie's first time too. Hi, Susie, tuning in from Australia. Yeah, I'm usually at home with a different backdrop. I'm at my parents', so it's fine. Petra's tuning in from France, watching whilst you walk the dog. How lovely. Nice. Catherine, it's good to have you here live. Oh, let's get stuck in. Fourth year here. So good to have you back. So good to have you back. So we're going to spend all week kind of dipping in, doing the prep work together. And like I say, I think the prep, for me anyway, takes the longest time. Molly's from Shropshire. How crazy. I'm literally at the moment I'm in Muxton and I'm actually usually in Apley, but I had to depart the house. It's a long story. I won't tell you, but Kath? Oh, Kath says, hi, first timers from an old timer. Kath has been in my world, United Art Space world, since the beginning. So like 8 years ago. Incredible. Okay. So we've got third timers, first timers, 10th timers. So we're going to do this reflection. So let's just recap on why we're here. So you've signed up because you want to take part in the best year yet and design your life. It used to be called best year yet, and now everybody uses best year yet for everything. And actually, when we started to look at this process of what we are doing here through our workshop, what we do is we help you design your life. It's a big part of what we believe in terms of you have the choice of how you live your life. And I'm not saying that you can design your life and change it next week and just have everything that you want. That's not what we're saying. But you can put things into place right now, in this moment, this week, that will impact the life that you live 5 years from now. And I'm seeing that already in my own life, in what I'm doing and the things that are showing up for me now. I actually planted seeds 5 years ago for a lot of the things that are happening in my life right now. And some of them are big things like the house that I've bought and the vision that I had for that. I never, ever thought I'd be able to buy my own house on my own. And I did it 2 years ago in May. And then, yeah, it's crazy. And so some things we can design our lives in a way where some things will start to happen quickly, things that we can put into place right now, habits that we can form. And that's what we're going to look at next week when we run the workshops together. We're going to look at your life in terms of long term and what things you can put into place now to impact your future life 5 years from now. And then we're also going to look at the things that you can do now, right in this moment, right this year, so that you can start making this year your best year yet. And when we say best year yet, what we really mean by that is that that when you have your best year yet, it really, for me anyway, is about you learning how to go into the year with the right mindset of whatever happens this year. Even if you have a plan, if the plan is thrown out the window because something happens, you are going to be armed with the ways to re-navigate, the ways to overcome anything that life throws at you. And that's a big part of having your best year yet, is actually not skipping through the year with everything going how you want it, which is great if it does happen like that. But it is more about how you as a person feel in control. You feel aligned with who you are. You feel strong when things don't go your way. You know how to navigate change. And that's a big part of our process, Design Your Life, is that part of it too. Okay, so we're going to jump in next week to creating your vision, creating a plan, and helping you understand what action to take to make that come to life. Today, we're going to reflect. So when you start the process, I'm going to share my screen now and show you where to go. So when you sign up, you will receive a link. So you should have this link in your emails already if you've signed up to access the site. Let me share my screen. I'm not very good at multitasking, so I just need to be quiet 1 second. This is the one that I want here. Okay. So once you log in, you're going to see on the screen here that you've got preparation, the prep. If you scroll down and click watch and download here, then you'll see here there's a button saying attachments, and you just need to download those attachments. Okay, so once you've signed up via the link above, you'll be sent all of this. After this live session, we'll send you a link to the actual worksheets just to save any confusion, but that's where you go. If you don't have the worksheet right now, don't panic. It's okay. Just take some notes. Just get a piece of paper, take some notes. I don't have my worksheet either because I thought I was going to be at home. I'm not. So I'm going to share the reflection worksheet with you. So I'm going to stop sharing that, and we're going to share the worksheet now, and we're going to go through this together. Okay, so if you're not sure if you've signed up, if you sign up above, it will email you straight away. And then I'll tell you what to do if you have any problems. I'll give you an email that you can email our support. So I'm going to grab this worksheet up, and we're going to go through these questions together right now. Michelle was here for the first time last year in 2024, and it was amazing for me. I got a job teaching art on a cruise ship, spent 6 months traveling and visiting some amazing places, all whilst doing what I love. How amazing is that? And this is what it's all about, is implementing things and actually getting really clear and really honest with yourself with, do you know what? This is what I would like to go and, what are you doing? Teaching art on cruise ships. I mean, how amazing. And sometimes, and I just want to say this as you're going through this process, sometimes you might sit there and go, well, that's fine for Michelle. I can't do that because of X, Y, Z. And this is a big part of this process, is us answering these questions without trying to come up with the reasons why it couldn't happen. Go through this process with an open mind of, that sounds amazing. I'd like to teach on cruise ships. And leave it there. Don't then come up with all the reasons why it can't happen. This is one of the big things that people do in their lives, is they start to see other people do things and come up with reasons why they've got money, or they've got access to this, they've got the resources, they've got the help. I can't do that because I'm not qualified enough. I can't do that because I'm too old. Before you know it, you're belittling everything that you also do have an opportunity to do. So as you go through this process, notice that about yourself. When you answer these questions that we're about to answer now, some of them might be a bit confronting or challenging, and I want you to keep an open mind. So there's two ways for me in answering these questions. One is spontaneously and quickly, what comes to mind quickly. And another one is when you start to get in your head and answer questions. And then that's when you can start to talk yourself out of something before you've even had a chance to see whether you could make it happen. And so it's noticing that. That's why we're talking here about designing your life, is also about you really noticing how you make decisions and what's going on in the mind when you come up with your ideas. Are you sabotaging them? So, okay, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do this together. If you want to use the chat, you can, or you can keep your questions private. So this is the worksheet. So this is the one that you're going to download. Everybody has got access to this. Okay, so let me recap as well. The workshop is free. The videos are free. There is an option to upgrade. The upgrade will unlock all the rest of the worksheets that go from next week when we start. There's lots more worksheets. There's lots more bonuses. There's Q&A sessions with me. And so if you want to upgrade, you can. The link is on the site and we'll send it you in an email too, but it's optional. You don't have to upgrade. You will access these videos for free. Okay. So this is the worksheet. I'm not going to go through every single question on this worksheet in this session today because it will take too long. I'm going to pull out the main parts of this process. If you want to dig deeper into this worksheet and go through the questions in your own time, then feel free. So the first part of this, and I'm not going to go into too much detail on this right now, is to reflect back. We're going to just reflect back on the last 12 months. But if you want to come back to this worksheet and reflect back beyond, please do. Now, I'm not going to do too much of that. I'm going to do a little bit of reflecting back. But Lindsay's just said here that Lindsay's been taking part in this event now since 2021 and has taken time to go back and look back at all the things Lindsay has achieved. And I think it's such an amazing idea. You can do a timeline and go back 5 years, 10 years, however far you want, 3 years. And I find the best way to go back is to literally just write the years in a timeline like this. And just look at the main events that happened in your life that you can recall, and look back at your phone if you take photographs. If you've got any way to just backtrack, look at a diary, for example, if you keep a diary. I've been doing that. Actually, I say I haven't been doing this reflecting back, but I have. I've been looking back at old journals. So I've spent the last few weeks just sitting, looking back and reading my thoughts from a few years ago, looking back at the kind of life I was living and thought, wow, I have come such a long way. And one of the big reasons that reflecting back is so good is that we often we are hard on ourselves, and we can compare ourselves to other people and think I should be further ahead, or I should be doing this, or a lot of this process I love because it's about you focusing on you. And hands up here who gets distracted by what other people are doing. And especially when you're scrolling and you're seeing other people, maybe, even sharing here, like somebody on a cruise ship, which can be so inspiring to some people and then really dangerous to other people because they start to think, oh, I don't live a life like that. Why aren't I doing that? We'll talk about this more next week, about how to really work on your mindset too. I want to bring it up right now that noticing this is important. Noticing how you're reacting to things is really, really important as you go through this process together right now, as we're in this group. So noticing what you have achieved, where you have come from. And on this timeline, noticing things such as major events, might be vacations, holidays, milestones that you overcame, even little hurdles. Like for me, there was one where I said about 2 years ago that I wanted to start skating. And it seemed so crazy. And I was like, where has that come from? I used to love skating, roller skating as a kid. And I've got children now, and I just thought that's one of those childhood things I used to love and I lost, and I'd love to do it again, but it just didn't seem important. When I was putting it next to like writing a book, earning money, keeping a roof over our heads, getting a house, roller skating didn't seem that important. And this is one of the things about designing your life too, is that it's making space for the things that you yearn to do, the things that are really calling you. And yeah, skating doesn't seem important, but actually there was a part of me that really wanted to do it. Anyway, long story short, I am doing it. I go roller skating now, and I find it really fun, and it's just such a stress relief. And so part of this, as you start reflecting back, might be I'm going to notice that, and I'm going to give myself kudos that I made that happen. I started roller skating at my age. And I have so much fun doing it. And I actually did it because of this process. Actually, looking back at my childhood, thinking, I used to love roller skating. Where did that go? And bringing it back. And so that's another reason why reflecting back, it might be reflecting back on something that you used to do that you've lost. Is there something that you used to, a hobby that you had, or something that you used to do, or a place that you used to go, maybe? When you think back longer term, there might be, let me know in the comments now. Is there a place you used to go to? Is there a hobby that you used to have that you let go of that you really enjoyed? Now, by putting it on here, it doesn't mean that you have to do it again, but it's giving you some insight into, why did I enjoy that? Why did I like that place? Reflecting. And like Steve Jobs says, then you can start to connect the dots. And what I realized for me with the roller skating, it seemed really unimportant, not as, like I'm busy and I'd have to carve out this time to go roller skating. It feels crazy when I've got all these other things that I should be doing. And I now realize that I need it because it's my downtime, and we all need downtime. And also there's a connection to my inner child. Every time I roller skate, I feel like I'm that 10-year-old again. And I actually get taken back to being that 10-year-old. It's really lovely. So anyway, so okay. So so pulling out then, when you've done your timeline, we're not going to do this one right now because I'm going to get you to do another timeline. Do this one in your own time. But right now, you could just sit here and think those two questions. Is there a place, or is there a moment from my past that I really loved that brought me so much joy and it's not happening anymore? Why is that? Jan says that it sounds silly, but I liked skipping and going on swings. So this year I'm going to do these silly things. Yes. I love it. I love it so much. These are things, we lose them. And this is why designing our life and reflecting back, it's taking a minute to think, let's not disregard anything right now, because don't belittle anything. Let's just bring it to the surface, and I'll share you how to filter all of this. We're going to bring quite a lot to the surface during this process, and then as we go through the workshops next week, we're going to show you how to kind of condense this down. Kath says, I really enjoyed line dancing for many years, stopped because of caring responsibilities, but I've started dancing again and I love it. Oh, I love this one from Melanie. Live in Cornwall, but don't get to walk on the beach enough. So yeah, bring that one in. It doesn't have to be on the timeline, but it can be just bringing this in right now. I love this. So, okay, because that could be when you fill the sheet in. What's one of the 3 events that have been most important and why? That could be, oh no, on here somewhere, the beach, walking on the beach. So one of the things as well is, what's your favorite piece of work? Some of you are artists here. I know some people I scoop up are not artists. You're welcome to stay. But what's your favorite work? Look back over like years ago. What's been your favorite work, your creation? So there's lots of questions in here that you can do in your own time. I'm going to skip through these ones now, and I'm going to bring it to the last 12 months. So there's a little taster there. If you want to go back over the last 10 years and dig a little bit deeper, do. So now we're going to just look at the last 12 months. So I start this process doing the same thing, creating a timeline. So on here, I've got literally just the days of the months on a scrap of paper, January, February, March. On the reverse, I've got the rest of the 6 months. And what I started to do on here is I start to just write down what happened, big milestones. And I'm usually thinking about work, I'm thinking about home life, and I'm thinking about personal me. And I think this is key in design your life, because quite often most of us are living a life because we feel that we have responsibility. We feel that we have to for other people, expectations, societal pressure. So actually carving out a piece on here that's just about you in this process is so important, because you are designing your life. Now, I'm not saying that you should just disregard everybody else and what everybody else wants, but for a moment in time, I do that. I do disregard. I think of a life with no money worries, no responsibilities. I'm a solo parent. So, my dreams are fixed to a certain point because of the responsibilities I have. But I do like to go through this process, dreaming and imagining the life without anything, so I can get to the core of what it is that I really want. And so do this now. If you've got a piece of paper, get a piece of paper out. Just write the days of the month on right now as we're doing this together, and start to, I've got gaps, but I start to write on here straight away places that I went to. I write down the work things that I remember. I write down significant moments that I know I had. And so you can start to do this here right now, because this gives you so much insight into your year too. And if you can't remember, like me, so I'm going to just go to my camera now, my camera roll, because I know I was in the Netherlands. I cannot remember for the life of me when that was. So I'm going to actually go into my camera roll right now, and this is what I start to do. And I would not do this if it wasn't for this event, because this is the kind of stuff we just don't make time for. Do we? We don't make time to sit here making a timeline of what I did last year, because we can get into the mindset of, I don't have time to do that. I mean, what good is this going to get me? But it does. And so it's really important. This is why I love doing these things together, because we make time for it together. I'm going to search now. Here we go. Found the picture. It was June, 19th of June. So I'm going to put this on my planner now that I was in Amsterdam on a work trip. It was fantastic. So I'm putting that on there. So I'm putting all these things down. And then once I fill this in, it really helps me answer the rest of the questions in this reflection worksheet when I have this sitting in front of me. So you can have a little go now, just on a scrap of paper. Using Instagram, absolutely. Thank you, Louise. Using my Instagram from last year to reflect back will help. Yes, great tip. Thank you for that one. Okay. Because he said, I used to like juggling. I always wanted to run away and join the circus as a kid, and I love watching the jugglers. Maybe I will really. Yes. Okay. So this is great stuff to just write down. So I don't have my journal with me, but I always have a best year yet journal. It's a massive one, and it's coming to the end. And these are the things that I journal on. I used to love juggling, and I wanted to run away to the circus. I mean, it's just such a lovely statement to make anyway. And to just write on that. What was it you were craving? You don't need to know the answers, but you can ponder, probe. And maybe it was the fun, maybe it was the freedom, maybe it was the carefree life. The skill, I don't know, but there might be something in there that just gives you a clue to the feeling that you want now. Or maybe it's bringing something back. Maybe it's learning to juggle. And so I just want to reassure people as well that when we go through Design Your Life, we will be looking at, if you want to make a career out of art, if you want to create some big projects, like set up your own gallery and things like that. We are going to get to that. But I think what's coming up here is the parts that are more playful, the parts that we don't make important because other things take over. And I think it's nice to create that space here to look at those parts that are coming up. So, okay, as we go through these questions now, get a journal or write them down in the chat. I do think there's something to be said for actually verbalizing or writing these questions down. But off the top of your head right now, so 2024 was the year that. Write down what comes out for you. 2024 was the year that, and I'm going to write down on here with you. So for me, 2024 was the year I wrote a book. That one's simple for me. My whole year last year was about writing a book, Your Art Matters, which is out now. Thank you to everyone here who supported me as well, for those who were around last year. Thank you so much. I'm going to go to the chat. Let me know in the comments, and I'm going to read some of these out. Lindsay, 2024 was the year my website went live. Oh, Kit's got a great tip here. I discovered Google Photos has all my photos, even ones I deleted from my phone. Oh, right. Oh, wow. Great tip. Thank you, Kit. I can see some posts for Derek, and I think I might have missed something. So I'm going to send you lots of love, Derek. I'm going to come back to the chat and see what I've missed. 2024 was the year I discovered United Art Space. Oh, I love that one. Derek says 2024 was the year that I committed to provide an extra storage for the charity I run so I can actually have space in my home, in my house. Love it. 2024 was the year that I finally made the leap to become self-employed. Yay. 2024 was the year I took a leap of faith. Oh, I love this so much. John says it was the year that I needed to rest, reset, and recover. Beth started a small membership and I'm loving it. 2024 was the year that I finished my 2-year-long walking trip. Wow, that's amazing. 2020 was the year I got married and bought 2 CV for wedding car. Oh, wow. I love it. Right, okay. So this year, 2024, my biggest challenge was, ooh, so we like to look at the good things and we like to look at the things that, you know, we found challenging, and only go there if you want to go there. If there's something that's triggering, if there's something that's very upsetting and you don't want to go back there, don't go there, you know, just don't do it. Focus on whatever feels right for you. I like to look back at the things that I overcame, that I found challenging, so I can give a nod to it and learn from it and congratulate myself for getting through things. So what did I find challenging in 2024? This is a hard one. What comes to my head straight away? I just need a minute. Literally doing this live, I haven't prepared. In 2024, I found challenging. Well, interestingly, I think the thing that comes up for me, I'm sorry to just talk about the book, but I really did find the book challenging. It's like it was the highlight of my life, and it was also the most challenging thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I know that might sound dramatic, but I found it hard. I have dyslexia and I really struggle writing. It's like writing doesn't come naturally to me. And there was a lot of times last year I just thought, why am I writing when it's not my strength? But I knew in my heart that I had something I wanted to say, and I wanted to, and it's always been a dream to write a book. I think because I have dyslexia, it's always been like this, oh, you know, prove myself. But I found it so, so difficult. And I have to say, I think it was about April last year, April, May, and I'm going to write this on my timeline. So this is good. If when something crops up, by the way, something that was challenging, you can put that on your timeline too. I've just remembered April, May was a time when I was starting to struggle. It's up to you whether you want to keep your timeline just positive. I like to just mix it up. So I was struggling with the book. I'm putting it on there because I'm just going to acknowledge that I was really struggling at that point, and I overcame that, and I did it, and I got it out there. And there was other things going on at that same time in the timeline where I know I was struggling, and despite that, I still did those things. And this is about you going, I did that. I did that. I overcame that. That was hard, what I did, and I did it. This part of this process can be a bit emotional as well, which is why I say only go there if, and if you've got people to support you, if you want to go there. So, okay. This is why I love doing this, because I actually had not acknowledged that. And I'd not acknowledged how hard that was for me. I've kind of just did it, buried it, move on. And there's something really nice about just saying, no, hold on a minute. Let's just look back at this and go, well done, well done. Or just acknowledging it. You did that. It was a challenge to find the time to learn painting techniques. And this is good to know. So writing this down is good to know. I'll share more as we move through. Oh, Charlie says I got into one of my goal galleries. Perfect for my who. Brilliant. Noodle Nats. I love the name, Noodle Nats. That's great. Changing my mindset, being the creator of my life instead of the victim. Going through a hideous divorce. Heart goes out to you. I'm so sad to hear that you're going through that, but I love what you've just shared there about being the creator of your life, and the victim thing I understand, because I feel like that was me too. Oh, Janice says discovering the 7 keys, which is our course. I love that. Thank you so much, Janice. That's made my day. Oh, Heather has the book. Thank you, Heather. Still working through your book and the worksheets. Julie said 2024 was the year I decluttered all art notes and reference into notebooks. That sounds like a big job. Well done. Okay, Carol says one of my biggest challenges was dealing with stress and recovering from criticism and critique. My biggest challenge was being in one spot again after my long walk. I'd like to hear more about this walk. 2024, finally entered an art comp and making the final gallery show. Stop procrastinating and just get on with my art. I love it. I find it a challenge getting out there and talking to people about my art. And I did 2 fairs, found a print framer, had an exhibition. Steepest learning curve ever, on top of being a mum and a day job. Okay, so the biggest disappointment. What was your biggest disappointment? Being really, truly honest. And I think sometimes with this one, I'm a positive person. I like to think of things in a positive way. I like to have a growth mindset. I live in a flower. That's what people tell me. I live in a flower. But sometimes it's okay to go, do you know what? I was really disappointed and peed off about that. It's okay, isn't it, to go, that was disappointing. Yeah, I was annoyed about that. Now, some people might not have a problem being like that. It might come easy to you. I sometimes have to be purposely come on, Michelle, just be honest. There must have been something that disappointed you in 2024. It's okay to admit it, and it's okay to say, I was disappointed with that. So let me maybe I think, I've probably got a few disappointments. I'm just going to come with the first one that comes into my mind. And everything seems to be about the book at the minute for me, which is interesting because I wrote the book in August, launched the book, and then I had to step back from it. And I think my disappointment as it comes up right now, which is interesting because I didn't realize I had this disappointment in myself. Again, when you're working through this worksheet, things might come up that you didn't realize. You go, really? Is that how I feel? Am I disappointed about that? And it's good to know because you can acknowledge that part that's disappointed and go, well, all right, so let me share an example. So I had big plans for the rest of the year. So when I did my planning, which we're going to do next week, I planned out a lot for the book in terms of like doing like this world tour and all these things. And the audio version is coming, but I had this plan to do it last September. And then what happened was I ended up doing my own 7 Keys course, and I realized that I needed to step back. I needed to step back, and I immersed myself in reflecting on what I wanted and just kind of like stepping back. And I chucked all my plans out the window, and I was like, no, I'm not doing the audio. I need to take a break from the book because I feel like I just threw myself into it so much that I just needed to take a step back from it. And there's a part now that's just coming up saying, I'm a bit disappointed in that. A bit disappointed that I kind of just felt like I did all that stuff on the book and then I just kind of put it on the shelf. So I'm just going to not be hard on myself and go, okay, right, well, I'm disappointed about that. But then I know that that was the right decision, though. I know that that was the right decision to make because I can still do all those things that I want to do with the book this year. I didn't need to do it all. I was trying to do too much in hindsight, I realise. And so that disappointed part, okay, that's fine. So I think sometimes you just need to just say it out loud. I was disappointed about this, and you just leave it there. Or sometimes it's about saying I was disappointed about that, and then reframing it like I just have, or connected it to the reason why it actually happened, and then it eases that disappointment. So I think it's okay to be disappointed or ease it off, whatever works. Oh, Susan, I'm sad to hear this. First online sale turned out to be a scammer. Thankfully found out before I shipped the painting. Yeah, I have this love-hate relationship with the online world because I've had an online business now for 8 years and I love this. I love this bit, getting people together, being in this space, meeting people from around the world. I love this so much. And then there's the other part that's just so horrible and it really swings massively right now, especially in today's world, I think, between the parts that I like and I don't like. Charlie says my biggest disappointment was not selling my larger pieces well enough. Lots of interest, but no bites. And knowing that now you can kind of take that plan into this year of how you can make that happen, or maybe why it didn't happen. Melanie says I'm disappointed in myself for not pushing myself and my artwork. So when these things come up too, it's about being kind to ourselves as well and saying it out loud. I'm disappointed in that. And then saying, because in all of this, we are where we are right now. And there's a danger here of reflecting back and then feeling like we're not good enough. We didn't do enough. We didn't achieve what we set out to achieve. We didn't, do that plan. I know there's maybe things that I didn't do because of fear. And then you think, oh, and so here throughout this reflection is that kindness to ourselves. And all we're doing is bringing these things to the surface and not criticizing ourselves. I just want to say that's what happened. And okay, we might be disappointed about that, but we know now that we can move past it and we can either do things differently this year or we can just let it go. It's gone. 2024 is gone now and we can let it just go. And or we bring it forwards. And we'll talk about that in a minute when you want to bring forwards and leave behind. So this is a nice one after that. So when you answered that question, my biggest disappointment was, but even though that happened, I feel fortunate because. So I love it whenever we come up with that negative, it's just to kind of like ease the yin and the yang. So bring it back to, I feel fortunate because. Now it might be in relation to the thing that happened. I feel, even though that happened, I feel fortunate because, so I'm going to use mine as an example. I feel disappointed in myself because and I'm going to be honest with what I feel now. And this is just a part of me that feels this. Not the whole of me feels like this, but there's a part of me that feels this. So this is this part now that feels this, that's angry and disappointed in myself. I feel disappointed because I worked so hard on that book. I spent 3 years of my life writing that book. I spent a lot of time last year in the weeds of it, nearly didn't get it out in the world. And then when I did get it out in the world, I had this plan to get it out there and to do all the promotion and things. And I let it slip. I only did it for so long. And then the plan went out the window. And then I just put the book on the shelf and almost pretended that I hadn't written a book. I just stopped even talking about it. I blanked it. So even though that happened, I feel fortunate because I realize now that I worked incredibly hard on that and I needed a break. I needed respite. I know that I'm an all or nothing person and that I was going into the phase of just having to step back and just be me again without writing a book. I knew that I had to reconnect because I'd put my all into that book. I literally lived and breathed it every day. I needed to stop. It wasn't healthy. I feel fortunate that I recognized that and I didn't burn myself into the ground, keeping with the plan of promoting it, and I would have burned out and been very, very ill. Well, that feels good. Feels good, so it might be harder for you to turn yours around. I don't know. We're all different, aren't we? But that feels good to just acknowledge that and know that that's what I needed. That's what I needed. And again, it goes back to people teaching, like, if you want to launch a book, you should do it this way. And me maybe putting that on a pedestal of I should have done this, I should have done that. I didn't, and it's fine. It's fine. So 2024, what were your biggest lessons? And this becomes easier when you start to do your timeline. But you can still answer this now. What comes to mind without having done the timeline? You can either look at your timeline or just answer it. What was your biggest lesson in 2024? What was your biggest lesson? Oh my gosh. And I think it's hard when it says, what's your biggest lesson? So if that's overwhelming you like it is me right now, it's like, oh, I don't know. You freeze and you go, oh, my biggest. So choose a few. Some of my lessons from 2024, and then you can maybe choose the biggest, because I think that word can put a bit of pressure on you to have, like, what's the most important? Because I was just about to say then that for me, one of the biggest lessons is that I've learned a lot about myself in writing that book. And one of the things that I've learned is that I need to change my environment. And then as I was about to say that out loud, then I thought, really? Is that my biggest lesson from 2024? So I'm doing this live with you because I'm sharing about the mindset stuff that can come up. Because immediately I came up with that in my head. One of the biggest lessons is that I know I need to change my environment to work and in an efficient way. It sparks my creativity. If I step away and I move somewhere else to work, it fuels everything. I get a different perspective. I feel that my ideas flow. I feel connected more to what it is that I want to do. I have more confidence. It's weird. Put me back in the house and I've got all these weird negative thoughts. Put me somewhere else, I'm like a different person. It's like someone changes my brain. But as I was about to answer that question, then the first thing that cropped into my head was, really, that's your biggest lesson from 2024? Really, is that all you have, Michelle? And so I just want to share that noticing when you're answering these questions, you can actually just take notice of, oh, hello, thought. Like, who are you coming along criticizing me for my answer there? And it's interesting because we have lots of parts. I'm doing parts work at the moment, understanding that we have parts that some parts of us are excited about things and some parts aren't, and it is based on our past. I won't go into there because I don't know much about it, to be honest. I'm just learning about it. But what I'm learning is that we can sometimes have conflicting thoughts. One side of us might want to go on a cruise ship teaching art, and the other side is terrified of that, and that's because we have different parts. One part of us is excited by that and the other part is fearful, and it's really interesting to go through this process and notice those different parts as they crop up. The part that's fearful, the part that's scared, the part that wants to keep you safe, the part that goes, really, is that all you've got from 2024? We have those parts that are critical of ourselves. So noticing that as you go through this process is helpful. I'm going to go to the chat before we answer the next question. I love this. Karen says, I'm allowed to change my mind. Who knew? Yes, power. Yeah, Candy says, I love parts work. Yes, I have a great friend who is a parts work therapist, and I think I need to bring Sarah in. She's fantastic. She can explain parts work much better than I can. Okay, I'm going to go. For me, it was acknowledging that everything flows from self-care, and this includes maintaining order, clarity in the home and studio space. Brilliant. Oh, this is also good. Oh, my heart goes out to you on this one. My mum and my best friend receive a cancer diagnosis, and watching my mum go through treatment. They are both good now. I'm so happy to hear that. I've learned that life is short and precious. Do the stuff, all the stuff. Yeah. And that's why when we go back to those childhood parts or past parts of, I used to like roller skating, I used to like dancing, and connecting with those again. A short one here quickly, what's just reminded me when we went through the pandemic, what I found interesting about the pandemic was that we were all forced into this situation, the whole world forced into a situation where we had to stop. Really, really fascinating. We all had to stop. And what that did was brought people to the arts. I mean, there was a massive boom in the arts because there are people in the world who always have wanted to make art and haven't, and only did it once the world stopped. I mean, what's going on there? We're all guilty of it in a way, aren't we? That it took the world to stop for people to really connect with what they actually want to do and to make time for things that bring pure joy. And I'm guilty of this one, that I won't always allow time for the fun things, for the silly things, for the pure, just just letting things go. And I've just now started to ski, and I'm really having to not force myself, because it's not a force thing. I want to do it, but I'm really finding myself, when it's time to go, looking at the housework, looking at all the things I have to do, thinking, I shouldn't be doing this skiing. I went yesterday, and so I really made myself go, because I thought, no, do it. And I did it, and I felt alive, and the moon was there, and it was like this indigo colored sky with the bright full moon. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at that. And I realized I wouldn't have seen that sight. I never see the night sky because I'm a parent. I'm always doing the tea and ferrying people around and bedtimes, and it was just so interesting. And I thought, these parts of making time to reconnect and just be in a moment, be present, so important. Okay. I could rabble on and on and on, as you've probably noticed. So let's go back. What was your happiest moment from 2024? What was your happiest moment? That one, the box is a little bit high. Anyway, what was your happiest moment? I have to say, my happiest moment, oh my gosh, it's the book. I know I can't stop talking about the book, but it's because I've ignored the book and now I'm excited to bring it back to the surface again. But me, last year, one of my hands down, the happiest moment in my entire life, it's up there in the top 10, was standing on the stage at my book launch with some of you here watching. You'll have been there, with amazing, amazing people in front of me, with my family there, my children were there. And then we had a party on the night and we danced, and my best friends were there. I literally, everyone in that room, I'll never, ever, ever forget that day and night. It was absolutely incredible. And there was so much behind it, of course, because of overcoming the writing of the book. And then also some personal things that I'd overcome to get to that point of being on that stage. That was a massive moment, and I need to highlight this. I mean, I've just got book came out, in August. It's like, no, August was major, Michelle. August was major. I'm just going to put that down so I don't forget. Major. So I'm going to sit now after this session. I'll drill into that more. Just what I was just saying now. I'll journal and really write down my thoughts and my feelings about why that moment was so significant. Because I tell you what, I want more moments like that. And that's why we're doing this, because we're learning more about who we want to be, what felt good. And we want to do more of what feels good and less of what feels good. And that's what a lot of this reflection questions are helping you navigate. You don't have to overthink that bit yet. I just want you to answer the questions in this bit. We're going to come back to this filtering soon. But right now, it's just answer the questions and just see what comes out. And if there's something like that major, journal on it, write some more about it in a journal or a piece of paper, or there's a notes section on here on this worksheet, I think. Okay, we're gonna wrap up now. I'm gonna come back live tomorrow. I've decided I want to do another live session tomorrow, where if anybody wants to hang out, it's literally just doing the work together. I'm gonna kind of probably go through the next phases. I'm gonna spend the rest of the day finishing some of this reflection off. I'll come tomorrow with some more of my thoughts of what's going on. And then I'll talk more about more of the prep. If you want to just hang out, it's literally just a session to do this together. If you need accountability and you want to share some of your thoughts, and I can answer some questions tomorrow. In fact, I might do a live tomorrow and Wednesday as well. Just be here at the same time tomorrow. Okay, so where did we get up to? I'd love to know then in the comments your happiest moment, and then we're going to end on I am most grateful for. I am most grateful for. And then you can go through these questions. I'm not going to do these ones. We're going to come back to these ones when we do the first workshop on the 20th. We'll come back to those. So we're just going to end today on where was I? Sorry. My happiest moment, and I'm most grateful for. Okay. Let me know in the chat. It'll be the same time tomorrow, Derek. Same time tomorrow. I'm going to come back on. Oh, Les, so good to see you, Les. I'm going to stop my screen share and I'm going to just come to the chat and just wrap up for the final. My happiest moment was just to walk and having allowed myself to go, and 10 arriving home in the grand place of the 21st of August. I want to follow up with you. I'm going to follow up with you because I want to know more about this walk. It sounds incredible. Oh, your Shropshire holiday. I love that. Oh, my happiest moment was my birthday, for when the first time I treated myself to something very special. I bought a very expensive 24 gold plated fountain pen so I could do more writing, and I absolutely love it. What a gift. Yeah, you can go back to your digital printing calendars. Absolutely. At this stage, I pull anything out that can help. I pull back my old best year yet worksheets if you have them. This is the perfect time. For some of you, it's the first time here, so you won't have any. But keep your worksheets. We go back over them. You can bring out those. You can bring out journals, calendars, photographs. It depends how deep you want to go. Go back for your social media, things like that. You can just skim this. So I always say, when you're doing this Design Your Life, you can go as deep or as high level as you want. You can just do a scrap of paper and do your timeline, quickly answer some of the questions in there. That's enough to take you forward. Or you can relish in this experience and go back and do it in depth and look. And, it's completely up to you. It depends how much time you have and how much headspace you have. For some people, that's overwhelming. That's overwhelming. Keep it really simple. And we will always give you the long version and the short version throughout these workshops so that you can then choose whichever way you want to go. Oh, Janine was at the book launch. It was just so amazing. Oh, family gathering. Angie says, my gel plate journey and sharing those skills with others. Oh, going to New York, my childhood dream. Oh. Oh, you're so welcome. Oh, Simon, good to see you back. How are you, Simon? So pleased to be doing this again this year. This is why it's so lovely doing all this together. Oh, Louise, you're so welcome. Looking forward to reflecting more. I'm most grateful for opportunities like the Community of United Art Space. Oh. See you tomorrow. If you want to come back, hang out tomorrow. There's no pressure. You can go through the event page, the videos there telling you what to do. Only come to these sessions if you feel that you want to hang out, if you want to go through. It's sometimes helpful to hear other people's responses, answers to questions. I'm always very honest with how I'm going through it, so I can share what I mean, as I'm working through. Yeah, awesome. Right, we'll wrap it up. Because those watching the replay won't watch if it's longer than an hour. This replay will go on the site, and I'll be back tomorrow. I'll send you the links in an email this afternoon. Take care. Bye. Oh, I have to end it there.